Today we're going to talk about my favorite limited colors to have on my palette. Um, I think if we really want to master color, really want to have control over our color mixes, one of the best things that we can do is just limit the number of colors that we have on our palette. As a high schooler, I took some amazing art lessons from an artist that I adore. And she had all the colors, and she had notebooks of her favorite mixes, her favorite water mixes, and her favorite sky mixes. And I spent hours copying those down and learning from those. And it just got to be so confusing. When you limit your colors down, it really will free you. You'll learn so much about the colors, exactly what the colors will do. So I'm going to show you my palette first and just talk about the colors. And then I'm going to do a couple of the color mixes with you so that you can kind of see an illustration of how it all works. So let me just check my sound really quick to make sure that the sound is still all working. Looks good. So here's my palette. Let me see if I can get it centered here for you a little bit better. This is my 12 by 16 glass palette that I love. And many of the colors that I have are Utrecht colors. I am finding after using these for a while that they seem to age faster than the golden paints. So as I go forward and get paints in the future, I will likely get I will likely go to the golden brand. I like the consistency of them a little bit better. But what we have here at the top, this is Hansa Yellow Opaque. This is Cad Yellow. You could also use the Diarylide Yellow. When you're shopping for paints, particularly I know on Dick Blick, they will have a little caution sign beside the paint colors that have warnings with them. The cadmium colors often have a warning, so just be aware of that. Yellow ochre is an amazing color. This is Pyrrole Red Light. Naphthol Red Light would be another great option. This is Quin Magenta or Quinacridone Magenta. Burnt Sienna, Ultramarine Blue, Phthalo Blue. And I like to have black and the titanium white. For the black, you could get the Mars black in the golden. So really with these colors, you can do amazing things. I like adding the burnt sienna to my palette. That is this color. It's great for painting birds, animals, any kind of natural in nature things. Burnt sienna is a nice color to have. And one of the reasons why I love burnt sienna is because it makes amazing grays. So I'll pull over a little bit of the burnt sienna. And let's just start out with a little bit of the phthalo blue. We'll try both of the blues. So if I mix these two together and add in a little bit of my titanium white so I can see the gray that I'm making. I'm going to add in a little bit more of the phthalo. So you just keep adjusting it. If you feel like it's too blue, add a little bit more burnt sienna. You can add a little bit more white so we can really see the gray color that we're making. So it's just a really nice gray. A little bit more interesting than just mixing the black and the white, but of course you could do that. I'm going to go ahead and write these colors down, and I will share them in our Shelley Parker Art Facebook group. So if you're not in that group, I hope you'll come over and join us. So you could also do the same, you could try it with the ultramarine blue as well. Let me wipe off my brush here. Let's just try it and see the difference. So burnt sienna and the ultramarine blue. And a little bit of our titanium white so we can see where we're at here. So it's just a little bit of a different shade, but really interesting. And again, you can keep adjusting it. That was burnt sienna and ult blue. Another color that if you don't have black out in your palette, it's sometimes fun to mix your own black. Really, black is just every color. So we can start out with our darkest colors. I'm going to start out with phthalo blue, add some quinacridone magenta. I'm going to add some yellow just because the yellow and the blue makes the green color. Add in a little bit more of the magenta. I can see a little bit too much blue, so adding in more of the quinacridone. You can also add in some of your burnt sienna. Add in a little bit of my yellow ochre too. And then darken it again with the blue. So you can see it's a nice dark black color, kind of just mixing everything. So let's write that down. That was phthalo blue. I'm just going to put QM for quinacridone magenta, a little bit of burnt sienna. I used yellow ochre, any of the yellows. I think at one point I used the cad yellow. Any of the yellows are fine. So let's go ahead and mix a pretty orange. We're getting ready to do the pumpkin season class in at Shelley Parker Art. So we're going to be mixing a lot of orange. Of course, we could use the pyrrole red and our medium yellow, which is the cad yellow, or the diarylide yellow. I always have a hard time pronouncing that. You can adjust your colors, your oranges, and add in a little bit of the yellow ochre. So yeah, it's a nice, easy orange. I'm going to put down pyrrole red light and cad yellow. Sorry about the scritchies on my easel here. Let's try it. I like to do the orange with the quinacridone magenta too. I'm going to try not to get into the blue that I've dipped into here. So a little quinacridone and some of the cad yellow hue. So that makes a really nice orange. If it's one looked like it stayed a little bit redder than I liked, so I'm going to add a little bit more of the yellow. Quinacridone magenta and cad yellow. I don't have burnt umber on this limited palette, and I do like a dark brown sometimes. We can easily get to a dark brown by just adding some black to our orange. So I'm just going to dip into my black. And this is the deep black from Utrecht. You can see just the consistency of it, even on my palette, is a little bit different than the golden colors. So I'm just going to mix a little bit of the black into this orange. I got a little bit too much black, but that's a nice dark brown color. Add a little bit of this orange in. I'm just going to put that this is orange with black. And the last color that I really like, and I do think it's a good color to add to your palette, is the Titan Buff. And I don't have the Titan Buff on my palette. I think it's a nice convenience color to have. It's nice to not have to mix this all of the time. So if you're looking for, if you're making your Christmas list and you're looking for another color to add, I really do like the Titan Buff. I know I talk about it a lot. It mixes some amazing pastel colors. So we can mix a Titan Buff by using the brown that we have mixed. So this is the orange with the black. We can add a little bit of white. It's probably going to take quite a bit of white. Trying to get more of that the true brown. So we have a nice kind of off-white color, but we get a little bit more toward the Titan Buff if we add in a little bit of yellow ochre. So let's just compare it. Let me open my Titan Buff here for you. There's the Titan Buff color. Mine is a little bit dark. I'm going to add in just a little bit more of the titanium white. You can see that we're really close. Probably needs a little bit more brown. And then a little bit more white just to dull that yellow down a little bit. So that's very, very, very close. But as you can see, it's just kind of a pain to mix. It's possible to get close to it, but it's just a pain. So I hope that this helps if you're just starting out and you just pulling your colors together. This is a manageable set of colors that you can start with, and you'll be able to make beautiful paintings with it. The Midnight Crow class that I just finished, I think I used another color that we didn't talk about here. I used Payne's Gray a lot, but in that painting, really, I just used Payne's Gray, titanium white, black, and quinacridone magenta. And that entire painting was pretty much just that. Sorry, my phone is ringing. I was going to go ahead and talk while we're here about a couple of the mediums that I do like to use. I talk a lot about the Duravan Matisse open medium. It is a little bit hard to find right now. Turn it here. But it's a nice thick medium. And when I build my palettes, I always mix some of this in to save my palettes longer. It allows me to have my palettes out and my paint's not drying right away. I also love the airbrush medium. I use this instead of water to thin my paints. All the paints that I use are the thick body paints. I prefer to paint with the thick body paints because I can do thicker strokes of paint in some places, or I can thin it down when I don't want it quite as thick. So I like having that choice. And the other thing that I generally put out is some type of a flow improver. So this is basically just another open medium. It just keeps my paints wet, but this is very watery. So that also thins out the paint at the same time. So when I'm doing something like a big sky, if I want to retain the ability to blend it a little bit and smooth those colors out, the the liquid extender, like the flow medium, and all the companies have one kind or another, um, will help the paint flow across the substrate and also keep it a little wet for a little longer. So if you have any questions about any of these colors, I hope that you'll just send me a message and let me know. And like I said, be sure to come over to Facebook, search for Shelley Parker Art, join our free Facebook group there. It's a great way to chat with me and ask questions. So I hope I'll see you over there.